Hello and welcome to another Lockdown Learning with myself, Paul Holland. You are here because you would like to sort out once and for all how purpose clauses work. Purpose clauses are looked at in another couple of videos of mine. If you're interested, check them out. There's one called ut plus subjunctive, and there's another one called gerundive plus ad for making purpose clauses. And the reason that there are these different ways of making purpose clauses is because the Romans, bless them, had lots of different ways of making purpose clauses for some reason, and they all of them, or certainly a number of them, turn up in your GCSE language exams. So it's worth you looking at them, recognizing them, and identifying how they work so that they don't catch you out in your exams. This particular way of making a purpose clause is by using the word qui and then following it with a subjunctive. Now, if you have seen my other video with ut and the subjunctive, then this kind of sentence ought to look familiar to you. Here we are. Caesar sent some soldiers in order that they kill the senator. And so you've got two halves here for the purpose clause. Remember, a purpose clause involves a sentence with two sections, if you like, two parts. A main clause, Caesar sent some soldiers. There we are. That's pretty straightforward. That's what he did. That's the basic factual element. And then you've got a second half which explains why, or what the purpose was. Why did he send these soldiers? In order to kill the senator. Now, two things here. We've got the word ut, in order to, and we've got this subjunctive, which we'll come back to in just a moment. Sometimes in GCSE Latin, you will see, instead of the word ut, you will see the word qui. And we all know that this means who, but here it doesn't mean the soldiers who killed the senator as a fact, but it means the soldiers who might kill or who are intended to kill the senator, which is not fact. And therefore that brings us to this form of the verb. This is the subjunctive, and the subjunctive is a form of any verb that you wish in Latin with a slightly different ending from normal, and instead of meaning they have killed as a fact, now it means they ought to kill, they're intended to kill, but we don't know if they have done so. You don't need to know much more about the subjunctive at GCSE level than this, but it is worth noticing because this sentence looks very similar to this sentence and they mean completely different things. So in the upper sentence here we've got Caesar sent some soldiers, and that is a fact. He sent these soldiers and they have killed a senator. They have done this, and this is called the indicative. And the indicative is the factual form, the basic form that you've all been learning of verbs in any tense, all sorts of tenses that you can have: the future, the imperfect, the perfect. This one's the perfect, isn't it? They have killed a senator. And it is a fact. But the second one now here has a slightly different form of killing, and actually that means in order for them to kill, but they haven't done it yet. We don't know if they've succeeded or if they went ahead with it, but Caesar sent them. That part is real, that is the fact. So that's in the indicative still. Misit is the indicative perfect tense of to send, mito. But the second half of the sentence is in the subjunctive. And to recognize the difference between these two verbs, this one and this one, means that you'll recognize the difference between a sentence that says Caesar sent some soldiers who killed a senator, and Caesar sent the soldiers in order that they should kill the senator. This verb in its subjunctive form is fairly straightforward to recognize. As you'll see, at its base, at its heart, is the present infinitive. That's the infinitive that you've known for probably for years now, the ones that end in ARE or ERE or IRE, and you simply have these endings on the end, and you put those very familiar endings onto the end of the infinitive. Even an infinitive that's quite a strange one, like esset, just comes from esse. And you have the subjunctive, which translates as could do something or might do something or in order to do something. So here we have a sentence: the master sent his slaves who were intended to look for some water. In other words, he sent some slaves to go and look for some water. In English, we would probably reduce that to a really simple to look for, which actually looks just like an infinitive, so be careful. It's not a straightforward infinitive, it's a purpose clause in English. We've simply reduced it to look for. To make that even more clear, possibly you would want to say in order to look for some water. Good. I hope that has made these particular kinds of purpose clauses a little bit clearer for you. The biggest thing to watch out for with these ones, and the trap that many people will fall into, is to just translate qui as who and think that it is all part of an indicative sentence. Remember, an indicative sentence is one where the verbs were fact. Therefore, if you are looking at a sentence and you've got qui or quai or quod, and it looks like it needs to be translated as who or which, just be careful, have a look and see if there's a verb a little bit later on in the subjunctive form, which will look like this: an infinitive, ARE or ERE, with an ending on the end of it. I hope that was useful, and I hope you enjoyed getting to grips with that. If you did, please subscribe and like, that would be fantastic, or leave a comment. That's always welcome. And I look forward to seeing you in another of my lockdown learning sessions. You might want to look at my playlists where there are things not just for Latin, but for some modern languages, as well as history of art and ancient history and some other bits and pieces. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next time.